Hey,
Hey, Tam.
Steve, you're there.
I'm here, Tam. How's it going?
It's going good. I think we've got a few people who've joined us tonight. Thanks to everyone who is live with us right now. We know we're expecting dozens more to join, but we're going to get things kicked off. You may have heard by following us on social media, by reading some of our communications, that it's not where, it's why. Why do we do this? 2020 really has been something else. So many live events and interactive events have been canceled. But we are very focused and continue to maintain our commitment to supporting the current research that's happening at the Princess Margaret. And there have been so many riders who have reached out to us to ask us to do something because they are also still committed. So we thought we would kind of come on out and lend ourselves to answering questions. And one of the things we want to do right away is to kind of give you an idea of what the plan is. I'm going to introduce Steve Merker, who will share with you what the plan is. Steve.
Thanks, Tam. And by the way, listeners, we're testing some new technology today, so hopefully the technology works for everyone out there. I hear there might be a little bit of an echo out there, but we're gonna push on and we're gonna figure out this technology thing. But I um, wanted to tell you a little bit a story. So a couple of weeks ago, I was down in Niagara Falls, and I just want to make sure. Actually, I'm just checking with our tech crew to make sure that we're coming in loud and clear. Tammy, do you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll continue on. Um, so I went down to Niagara Falls, and one of our riders, 92-year-old Bill Wall, lives down there. So I went and I had a socially distant, appropriate visit with Bill. And I said, Bill, and I met Bill. I've known Bill for a long, long time, and he's done. For those of you who know Bill, he's done the ride 9 times. He's 92 years old. He had to take the last 2 years off from doing the ride for health reasons, but his doctor gave him the all clear to do the ride this year. So he was really excited to do the ride. And for those who don't know Bill, he's blind. He rides on the bike with his good friend Don. It's a tandem bike. And Bill was totally pumped to do the ride this year. And so with all this COVID-19 stuff going on, Bill was really disappointed that he wasn't going to be able to do his 10th ride at 92 years old. And I said, Bill, we've got the virtual Enbridge Ride to Conquer Cancer. We need you to ride. And he said, Steve, tell me a little bit more about the virtual ride, because he's interested to learn more. So I told him, and I said, I painted a picture on our virtual ride. So I wanted to kind of go over that really quickly with folks so they understand what does a virtual ride even mean. So picture this. First of all, we're going to be encouraging people to start their fundraising, to recruit riders to their virtual teams. And then about 2 weeks before the ride, we're going to have, if we can, if it's appropriate, we're going to be hosting these pickup depots. And we're going to have these pickup depots stationed around Southern Ontario, make it easy for people to get to. And at these pickup depots, we will have some of our great crew and volunteers who typically support us. And they've been asking us, what can I do? What can I do? We want to support this year. So we want to work with local bike shops or some of our sponsors and have these pickup depots available for people to come by, where they can pick up their official Ride to Conquer Cancer t-shirt, their jersey, maybe their platinum or gold helmet, their yellow flag if they're a Survivor rider, of course their 2020 sticker for their bicycle, because we know how passionate people are about their stickers. We're even going to have lawn signs this year, so you can put lawn signs up on your front lawn to show that you're a supporter of the Enbridge Ride to Conquer Cancer virtual version. And so once I started to paint the picture to Bill, he started to get more excited about it. And then I said, on the ride weekend, or on August the 29th, we're going to have an opening ceremonies. And we're not going to have this long, drawn-out affair. We know how some riders want to get going. We're going to have a short and sweet but impactful opening ceremonies on August the 29th, where we will announce how much money, or maybe we'll save that announcement to the end of the day. We'll keep you in suspense. But we're going to have a short opening ceremonies reminding people why we ride. And we're going to share some stories. We are also going to encourage people in advance of the ride to use social media to post their own personal ride to conquer cancer. So that could be on Strava, Zwift, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, whatever social media, TikTok for all I care. Whatever you use on social, we want you to post your ride. And then at the
I
end of the
love that.
day, you love that?
I love the
Well, and
TikTok idea, Steve.
okay. I just learned about that TikTok thing recently, so
Maybe we should do one.
wherever we'll do one together, one of those dancing ones.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, we're going to invite people to come back to our closing ceremonies, where we're going to aggregate all of the rides that people do that day, and we're gonna share the stories about some of our survivor riders. We're gonna remind people why we do what we do, and as Tammy said, it's not where, it's why, and this is why we're doing the virtual ride to conquer cancer. We're going to be maybe people are going to go out and do a ride, and if you haven't heard of Strava art, Google it, because I've heard some riders are going to go out and do a ride and spell out the name of somebody they're riding for. So we're going to have all these stories, all these rides, all these posts come in, and we're going to celebrate all of you who do the Enbridge Ride to Conquer Cancer virtual. We are also going to encourage you to go and grab a steam whistle or your favorite beverage to join us for that closing ceremonies on August the 29th. So that's a little bit of the picture I wanted to paint for everyone on this virtual ride. But I also wanted to remind people why we ride. And I'm going to just pull this up for a second here, so people, hopefully you can see that. So when I was down in Niagara Falls a couple of weeks ago, I also got to check in with a good friend of mine, Julianne. Some of you who have done the ride the past couple of years would recognize Julianne from the opening ceremonies. And Julianne was up on the stage with me, helping send off all the riders. And Julianne told her story, and she's this most unbelievable young person battling cancer and battling as we speak. And so I got to go down and see Julianne, and she gave me this plaque, and she's got a butterfly here at the top, and you can see it says Julianne loves the Ride to Conquer Cancer, and she's pumped about the virtual ride. I'm hoping Julianne will be doing it with us, but I wanted to dedicate my Ride to Conquer Cancer this year for Julianne, and I think that there's a lot of people out there who are listening in right now that also want to dedicate their ride to someone in their lives, and so just wanted to remind people why we do this event. So I'm going to hand it back to Tammy now for some of the questions we have coming in.
Great. That was such a great story, and so many of us love Julianne and Bill for that matter. So I'm looking forward to seeing Bill this year. We have a question from Steve and Mark regarding the jerseys this year. Interested to know whether or not there will be jerseys available and ambassador jerseys. Great news. There is. We are going to be introducing to you a new rewards program. We're going to be calling it Road to Rewards. So it's a program to earn rewards for fundraising. Many of you have already done some hard work leading up to today and have done fundraising. So we want to recognize you and reward you. And this is how it's going to look. If you have already, or if you raise $350, you will receive an official Ride to Conquer Cancer t-shirt. If you raise up to $750, you will receive the amazing hat that Mr. Merker, not that hat, but you'll receive a hat just like that for raising $750. If you raise $1,000, you'll receive the official 2020 Ride jersey. And if you raise $1,500 and you ride the Hammer, I know there's some of you out there who want to do the 100 miles, post it to Strava, and we will send to you a Hammer vest sponsored by the Carpenters Union. I think, Steve, you're also wearing that too.
I am.
And for $2,500, you will be a part of the coveted ambassador team. So RBC has sponsored the ambassador program, and everyone who raises $2,500 or more will be an ambassador and receive an ambassador jersey. What we're doing because of the current situation is we're going to be creating some pickup depots. And this will help. I think Steve's going to get more into that, but this will help so that we can see you, say hi, you can pick up your item, and we're going to give you a little more information on how that's going to work. But we're pretty excited about this, and we hear others are excited too. Steve?
And we're also, just to build on that, Tammy, we're looking at doing, when people do their online check-in, for those veterans out there, you're going to have the ability to do an online check-in to confirm the size of your shirt or your jersey. You could confirm one of the pickup depots where you're going to go to pick this up. And we're also looking at a delayed self-pledge option. So let's say you were shooting hard to hit that RBC ambassador option and you were at like 1,900 or 2,000 and you really wanted to hit that $2,500. So we'll have a delayed self-pledge option so you could be an ambassador on August the 29th and commit your fundraising to that level. So, and talking
Thanks
about
for that.
fundraising, yeah, well, talking about fundraising, one of the biggest questions that we've had come in, here it is, can I defer my fundraising from multiple riders? And so the quick answer is yes. But here is what I'd like to share with everybody. First of all, we take our cues sometimes from other big cycling fundraisers around the world. There's two in particular in the States that are similar size to our ride. And both of those events have had a no deferral policy. So we contemplated doing a no deferral policy, but we recognize how challenging it is with fundraising in this environment, and who knows how long this is going to last. So we decided to say, yes, you can defer some or all of your fundraising to next year. However, we are pleading with people to keep their money this year. Keep their money in this year, because I can tell you that our researchers rely on that money. In fact, our researchers are going to be leaning on us now more than ever before for that money to come in. We had a goal, and some of you may have seen on social media, we were trying to raise 20 million in 2020, the hashtag 20 in 2020. I don't think we're going to come close to raising $20 million this year. We're going to try our best to raise many, many, many million. And our researchers, who will probably not get a lot of funds through other sources because of the economic environment right now, they're relying on us. In fact, there's some other events that we've seen out there that have just packed it up, and they're just canceling their event. And in fact, I had somebody reach out to me from British Columbia this week, who said, Steve, one of the events that I typically raise money for is canceling. And can I do your ride? I want to raise money for cancer research. And I know Princess Margaret's one of the, yeah, absolutely. Anybody. We have typically, as a lot of you know, we have riders from all over Canada, all over the US, and all over the world who participate. And so we invite everybody to join us in our virtual ride. And we're hoping that people will keep their money this year. If you do want to defer some of your money or all of your money to next year, then call the ride office, talk to Kristen and her team, and we'll allow for that. But we're hoping that you remember why we're doing ride. Okay. Okay. Right. So now I think that's just looking at the questions coming up on my screen. Over to you, Tam, for the next one.
Thanks. Looks like Harold has asked us a question about fifth-year rider. Oh, as well as Viola. Thank you so much, Harold and Viola. I'm not sure if you're watching us right now, but you're asking about being a fifth-year rider. Thank you very much, and congratulations for getting into your fifth year. Will you still get your gold helmet? You absolutely will still get your gold helmet, but I'm going to tell you how you need to achieve. So all of those who are participating in the virtual event, and you're on your fifth or your 10th year, and you raise at least $1,000 in 2020, you will receive your helmet. And just to keep in mind, riders raising over $1,000 will also get a year's credit for their gold or platinum helmet for future years. And this way, we're making it very fair for all, because we have so many riders who are looking to achieve these incredible milestones. So all you need to do is raise $1,000. If for some reason you choose not to participate this year, we will hold that for you. You participate next year in the physical ride, and you raise your minimum $2,500, and you'll be recognized as a 5 or 10-year helmet recipient. I hope that answers your question.
Next question from Barb. Oh, no, that's good. Just looking at Barb's question. I don't have a bike. Can I run or walk? So it is the Ride to Conquer Cancer. But you know what? We're kind of being flexible this year. If you want to run or walk or do anything, then absolutely go for it. We're excited about what people are going to do on their bicycle. And in fact, you know, this event now, if you haven't seen our frequently asked questions, is open to people of all ages. So if you want to ride around the block with your baby in a baby carriage, that qualifies. If you want to have your 2-year-old ride around on his trike or with his training wheels, then have at it. Or if you want to walk beside them as they ride, absolutely register to run or walk and do the virtual Ride to Conquer Cancer.
Good plan. Thanks, Barbara.
Okay, next question.
Danny. Hey, Danny. Danny asks us if he needs to ride on August 29th or can he ride on a different day? For example, if it's raining on the 29th. Danny, I can tell you that I have spoken to a number of riders who are actually going to be doing their ride on June 13th and June 14th. You can do your ride any day you choose. But I'd like to suggest you try to do it before or on the 29th. If for some reason we have bad weather on the 29th and you haven't ridden, then feel free to ride the next week. We'd like to keep everyone in and around the same date, but feel free, ride when it's convenient for you. And if you'd like to ride indoors, you can ride on a stationary bike or get outside and enjoy this great weather we're having. Maybe not today, but it's happening. So thank you, Danny, for that.
In fact, I've heard, Tammy, that a few riders are going to do the ride this weekend, or sorry, on the June 13th, 14th weekend, they're going to do their ride. So if you're going to do that, because I think there's a few people doing that, make sure you physically distance yourself from all the other riders. And I think the hockey stick rule in cycling is multiple hockey sticks. So keep that in mind. And just so you know, I'm going to share it with you now. Me and my buddy plan on doing the entire 200 plus kilometers on June the 13th in honor of in tribute to the Ride to Conquer Cancer. We're going to use it as sort of our kickoff to the virtual ride, which is happening August 29th.
So I have a request then, Steve. I request that you wear a GoPro and you capture images of your ride and you share it to the rest of our riders to inspire everyone. Because really, even though, Steve, you might be doing the route, there are going to be others who are going to create their own. So I'd love for you to share that and inspire us.
So, Tammy, basically you're questioning if I'm actually going to do it and you want to see proof. That's what you're saying,
you can
right?
See right through me.
So I'm going to put it on Strava because if it doesn't happen on Strava, it didn't happen. So you can follow me on Strava and you're going to see over 200 kilometers on June the 13th. So FYI, and if there's anyone out there that wants to pull me along a little bit, I'm happy to have some help there. Next question from John. Will Polka Dot Jersey riders be honored this year? Absolutely. So for those people who don't know, the Polka Dot Jersey program is the first 10 riders who overachieve $15,000 in fundraising. We currently have 6 riders over $15,000. And so there's still 4 Polka Dot jerseys up for grabs. So John, go for it, man. We want you to get that next Polka Dot jersey.
Right on. Kathy, how can you learn more about the ride? Well, here's your first step. Joining us on our live Q&A. Your second step is register for the virtual ride. You just need to go to conquercancer.ca. It's really easy. We've made it so easy for you. Get in there, join, tell your friends, and I bet you your friends will tell you about the ride. It's going to be incredible. Please check it out, Kathy, and if for some reason we can't answer your questions after you register, by all means, contact our ride office, or you can contact me, Tammy Johnson, at the pmcf.ca, and we'd be happy to answer any further questions that you have. Thanks, Kathy.
Okay, Mark. Excuse me. Will there be a suggested route I can ride? So yes, there will be, and we're going to take in mind the physical distancing rules in place at the time of August 29th, but we are going to post some suggested routes around Southern Ontario on our website and on our Strava group. By the way, you have to go to our Strava Club, newly formed Strava Club. and join. We have 58 members, I think, as of 4 o'clock this afternoon, and I recognize a lot of the names, some of the big hammerheads, also good fundraisers that I've seen on our Strava Club. So join the Strava group or check out our website. We're going to have these routes posted, and these are just suggested routes. Again, we want you to do your ride your way. This is a virtual ride. In fact, one of my good friends who lives around the corner from me, Mary Jane, one of our oldest riders, her virtual ride this year is going to be on her stationary bike. She's going to put it at the end of her driveway. She's going to ride from, I think, 8 in the morning till 8 at night. She's going to take solace in her own personal porta potty, which is her house. She's not going to have to worry about traffic, and she's going to put a donations box at the end of her driveway as well, and have her husband Bud come out with lemonade and support her and cheer her on. So that's her virtual ride, but you can get out there and do any of our suggested routes. In fact, depending on the rules and the health regulations at the time, we may even offer a hydration station on some of these routes. You know, we have so many volunteers that are reaching out and saying, what can I do? I love the Ride to Conquer Cancer. It's one of my favorite weekends of the year. I want to support in any way that I can. And we say, well, if we can, we're looking at doing it's not going to be a pit stop that you guys all know and love with 20 porta potties and food and everything. It's going to be something very appropriate and more as a cheer station than anything else, to cheer you on, perhaps give you a bottled water and a Cliff Bar and send you on your way, just to help create that sense of community that everyone knows and loves in the Ride to Conquer Cancer.
Right on. Harvey. Hey, Harvey. Harvey asks us if we'll be using Zwift for training rides or during the August 29th virtual ride. Harvey, yes, we are going to be doing Zwift training rides. In fact, we have one scheduled on our original date of the ride weekend, which is June 13th. And guess what? It's not just a ride meetup. It's not just a Zwift meetup. It's with our honorary vice chair, Aubrey, I hope you're not watching, Aubrey De Silva. Aubrey is not only our honorary vice chair, but she's also a competitive cyclist and breast cancer survivor. Aubrey is a force to be reckoned with. She will ensure that everyone's well taken care of on the Zwift meetup. You need to go to Eventbrite. You need to search for the Ride to Conquer Cancer Zwift meetup with Aubrey De Silva. We're going to provide details for everyone at the end of this broadcast. So not to worry. It is limited to up to 100 Zwifters. So please get in there now if you decide that you'd like to join. Otherwise, we'll be sending an email out on Monday or Tuesday of next week, which will share with you all of the details. But we're really excited for this opportunity. So Harvey, thanks so much. And I hope that we'll see you there.
A lot of new Zwifters out there with the COVID-19 thing going on. So yeah, join Aubrey on June the 13th.
Yes.
Next question from Curtis: can I purchase a jersey? So we, as per our sort of normal business practice, we want people to earn their jersey. And so, as Tammy mentioned before, in our milestone program, what's that called again? Road to, Tammy? I forget.
Rewards.
Road to Rewards. Thank you. We just came up with the name actually this morning. You know, as per our Road to Rewards program, if you surpass the $1,000 in fundraising, you're going to earn an official 2020 Ride to Conquer Cancer jersey. However, there will be opportunities to purchase ride apparel items through our new apparel partner, Jack Roo. So that will be posted on our website in the weeks to come. So hopefully that answers your question, Curtis.
Thanks, Curtis. Hey, Jen. Oh, Jen, music to my ears. You're planning on riding the Hammer route. Okay, Jen, we need to meet. Will there be an opportunity to ride the Hammer this year? You got it. We will be posting, and we actually already have posted the Hammer route on Strava. Please have a look. By all means, you can participate in riding the actual Hammer route that we had mapped out in 2019 for the ride, or you can ride 100 miles anywhere you choose. If you want to do that and you've raised your 1,500, we would be more than happy to provide you with a Hammer vest. I want to see more and more women wearing these vests. I'd love to do the Hammer route myself, but you know.
But
I'll do the 100K, not the 100 mile. Anyway, we're going to leave Steve to that. But yes, by all means, Jen. I hope that you'll send us some pictures or post some pictures of you participating in the 100 miles.
Okay, from Nick, our team's able to purchase custom jerseys with the Ride logo from Jackaroo. So, as I mentioned before, you can't purchase the 2020 Ride to Conquer Cancer jersey, but if your team is interested in doing custom jerseys like we typically see on the Ride weekend, yeah, then absolutely. So, on our website, or we have the information on Jackaroo, so you can contact them directly, let them know that you're doing the virtual Enbridge Ride to Conquer Cancer, and they will give your team a special deal, and I believe there's no minimums also. So if you have a team of 3 or a team of 30 or a team of 300, get your team jersey, and we want to see those posts on Instagram, you guys sporting your team kit.
Awesome. Oh, questions from our team, Scotiabank. What are some of the ways to support the Ride to Conquer Cancer and help the cause if I'm unable to participate or fundraise this year? Thanks so much for that question. The thing I tell people who ask me this question is spread the word. Talk about what we're doing here at the Princess Margaret. We are raising dollars for vital cancer research. That's the number one most important thing that I think I could ask you to do, is to spread the word. Encourage others to participate. And like Steve said, any age can participate. We've got Bill Wall. Bring your kids. But barring that, we will absolutely be very grateful for volunteers that will help us with cheering people on, either participating in our hydration stations, of course, providing that everything's safe, or working at our pickup depot. And that could be from something as simple as thanking people who are coming to pick up their swag or helping us sort the swag. Of course, everything will be done safely, and we will have opportunities, and we will announce the locations. All of you at Scotiabank, by all means, there will be opportunities for you to support the cause and your team of riders who are participating in the virtual event. So thanks for that question. Next question.
Okay. Man, Scotiabank are peppering us with questions. What's the best way to approach your network when fundraising during these uncertain times? Fundraising tips. So, you know what? It is a good question. We certainly recognize it's a tougher fundraising environment out there. People are putting their fundraising efforts behind things like food banks and mental health and some like absolutely worthy causes. We know that people, in fact, we've heard it from many of our riders that they want to continue to support cancer research, and in this case, in particular, Princess Margaret. Unfortunately, cancer is still killing over 200,000 Canadians every single year, and we need to keep raising funds to support the research that is going to change that stat, and it's going to increase the survival rates for cancer diagnoses in the future. So. I think although we've eliminated the minimum fundraising target, when we've added in some incentives, we're not putting any pressure on anyone to raise $2,500. We're hoping that happens. We're hoping that people just use best efforts, to borrow from a legal phrase that I hear often, and do their best to raise as much money as they can this year. And how I do a lot of my fundraising is I share a story. I shared with you earlier that I'm dedicating my ride to my good friend Julianne in Niagara Falls this year. So think about who you're riding for and why you signed up to do this ride in the first place, and use that message. Update your personal page and send an email out to your group of network, your friends, your family, and let them know that you are participating in the virtual Enbridge Ride to Conquer Cancer this year. And then our research organization is going to be struggling with lack of funding from other sources. So we need to step up, and we need to support people who are going through that cancer journey, and the research team that is going to be supporting the people who are diagnosed with cancer, unfortunately, in the future. So I think in terms of how you fundraise, it hasn't changed that much from previous years.
Yeah. Scotiabank hitting us up again. Physical pit stops. If there are physical pit stops during the ride, will there be safety practices available to riders? This is going to go without saying. Absolutely 100%. Now, keep in mind that this is not certain, just like anything right now these days. If we are able to provide hydration stations, we will absolutely continue to monitor all social distancing best practices as the COVID situation evolves. And we will ensure that any support offered, it conforms to this to be responsible and will follow all best practices. So we will not put anyone in harm's way. Our number one priority has always been safety, be it physical, be it virtual, and we will not compromise that. So yes, absolutely, there will be safety practices. Thank you for that question.
Okay, when does online check-in occur for the virtual ride? So I think I mentioned earlier that we're putting together the online check-in process as we speak. The tech magic wizards are hard at work right now developing the online check-in process. We hope to launch that perhaps towards in July at some point in time. And that's, as I mentioned before, that's where you can go in, you can confirm the size of your jersey, your t-shirt, where you might be going to pick up your swag items at one of our pickup depots, and confirming other details like that. So we will be pushing out emails in the future to let people know when the online check-in process will take place.
Mm-hmm. Great.
Okay, what's next?
Tell me the next one's from Scotia. Yeah. What? Has the Ride to Conquer Cancer confirmed the routes for August if the physical ride is possible? Well, we're working on a lot of things here. So we will be offering a variety of routes. And that way we're ensuring we're not crowding and we can maintain social distance. But I encourage everyone here to follow us on Strava, as we'll be releasing routes throughout the coming weeks. This will help you to support with training. It'll be great for riding and to build up a great stamina for the event on August 29th. So check in to Strava, join our club, and you'll be in the know.
Yeah, and just to confirm that we're not going to be having any start, any finish. We're going to be posting these routes, and people can kind of do them at their leisure. So there's no official ride that we're going to encourage everybody to do. We're hoping you do your ride your way. And then if you can do one of our virtual rides that we post on Strava, as Tammy said, then you'll probably get a little bit of that sense of community by seeing other riders. And by the way, we encourage you to wear one of your previous Ride to Conquer Cancer jerseys if you don't have your 2020 jersey by that point in time. Yeah.
Good idea.
When will further information for the virtual ride and options be available and communicated? Well, people complain sometimes that we send out too many emails, but as I always say to folks at the foundation, at this point in time, we're building the plane as we're flying it, and so there's a lot of new information that we send out on a regular basis. So we encourage you to make sure you read the emails that we send out, because there's a lot of great information regarding our virtual Enbridge Ride to Conquer Cancer. So we're going to be continually updating our frequently asked questions on our website. We'll be posting updates to social media, and you'll see the emails coming through. In fact, if you have any riders on your team or friends who are thinking of riding, make sure we had a rider the other day saying, how come I haven't heard anything from you guys lately? And then we checked his status, and he had opted out from our emails, and he had no idea we were even doing a virtual ride. So if you know people out there who may have opted out of our emails because we over communicated, well, now's the time to opt back in, because we want to keep in touch with everybody as much as possible.
Now, thank you. I want to thank everyone who submitted their questions ahead of time. Steve and I just went through all of those questions. Obviously, there were some duplicates. So if we didn't mention your name or you didn't see your question, we hope that we answered it. We want to take some time now to answer any live questions for things that we may have missed. So please, if you haven't already, send us your questions. We'll do our best to answer them now. And if we can't get to all the questions, we'll absolutely get back to you.
What is the name of the Stava Club? All right, Gene has already raised $2,800. Nice job, Gene. So it's
Way to go,
there
Gene.
are multiple Strava. Yeah, there's multiple Strava clubs when you search it up, but it's called the Enbridge Ride to Conquer Cancer, and it's the Ontario version of it. But you'll see it. We have about 58. Well, maybe by the end of tonight we'll have like 168. But you'll see it, and you'll see my good friend from Scotiabank, Luis. He's the top of the leaderboards on pretty much everything. Well, so is Adrian from Deloitte, but yeah, so Enbridge Ride to Conquer Cancer is the name of the Strava Club.
Tammy, if I do this virtual ride, does it count as being a year closer to my 10-year? Virtual being 200K. Tammy, nice to meet you. We touched upon this a little bit earlier in our Q&A, and you can absolutely participate in the virtual ride, and you can absolutely earn your 10-year helmet. But in order to do that, we ask you just to raise $1,000. And that way, other folks who are looking to participate in the virtual ride and raise $1,000 will get a credit towards their year when they participate, and they end up at 5 or 10 years. Does that make sense, Steve?
Makes sense to me. Yeah,
Great.
basically $1,000, you get a full credit for your year.
Yeah.
John says, I'm already registered for the regular ride. I'm assuming that I don't have to separately register for the virtual ride. I believe that is correct. I think the data wizards will just make sure that everybody's essentially a virtual rider this year. Is that right, Tam?
Sure. Sounds good.
All right. The definitive answer for you, Johnny. So
Thanks,
the
John.
question is, okay, Miranda.
Miranda, where would we find the suggested routes? It's what I look for after winter. It's on my birthday weekend. Happy birthday. Happy early birthday, Miranda. Steve and I suggest it's probably best for you to join our Strava Club. And that way you'll be first to see the routes that we're uploading. I think that's probably the best way.
Yeah, and we will also be posting those routes on our website. If for some reason you don't want to join Strava, we will have on the Enbridge Ride to Conquer Cancer website, we'll have some routes posted. Just so you know, there is a free version of Strava, so you can join Strava for free and join our club for free. And there's a paid version as well, but you know there's no cost to join Strava, so you don't have to stress about that in case you don't want to pay for that.
Very easy.
Good old Sabrina.
We know you, Sabrina.
I know Sabrina. I'm glad she's tuning in. The research efforts at Princess Margaret have also been impacted by COVID-19. Your fundraising efforts are needed more than
ever.
More than ever. So, folks, Sabrina is on the, I believe she's on the HEAM team, who's that team has ridden every single year since the very beginning of the ride back in 2008. And Sabrina knows more than anyone that we need to keep raising money. In fact, we set up a Conquer Cancer for COVID fund, Conquer COVID for Cancer fund, sorry, that people can also raise money for. And you know, that's to help some of the frontline workers. I've actually taken a few turns volunteering at the cancer center, screening patients and guests as they come in, and I've seen Sabrina several times coming in and out because she's been there every day. She works, I think, in the sort of the emergency area at the Princess Margaret. So Sabrina's a frontline worker dealing with cancer patients and really having an inside perspective on what's going on.
Andrea loves Jack Rue. Excellent quality jerseys and great choice. You know what, Andrea? So far, so good. We love dealing with them. We love them too. Thanks for saying that. Tim
Martin, if riders do donate all their funds this year, is next minimum fund going to be 25? So actually that I had another question from my good friend Mary Jane, and Mary Jane asked me today, what's the future of the ride? And we're really hopeful that there's a vaccine and the world can return to some kind of a new normal that represents something like we did have, and we're hopeful that we can return back and have, you know, gather in masses and have an amazing ride in 2021. And if that's the case, yes, the minimum will be $2,500. If the ride has to be virtual again in 2021, then we're going to look at the whole virtual model. We're going to talk to riders like you, Tim, and everyone else out there to see what they really enjoyed about the virtual Ride to Conquer Cancer, what we can change. We do need to keep raising money. That's one thing we know for sure. So we're going to figure out what an appropriate minimum might be in a virtual world. As I said before, there's no minimum this year. So I hope that answers your question, Tim. It's kind of a moving target. Okay, next question.
Michael, aside from the jersey, will we be able to add the ride cards and markers to our bikes to identify us as riders in August? Well, Michael, we think that we're going to be able to help you with that. We're going to have stickers available at our pickup depots for any rider who would like to apply them to their bike, similar to what you've done during our ride in the past 12 years. We will likely not have ride card. What?
Yeah, sorry, you're right. You're right on track. Keep going.
Steve scared me. We will not have ride cards this year. It's going to be a little difficult, a little challenging logistically. So, feel free to deck out your bike, but we will provide you with stickers to commemorate your participation in this year's virtual event.
Yeah, and I think I mentioned before, we're also going to have lawn signs that you could pick up at our depots. One of the things we're really being cognizant of this year is our expenses. We're trying to keep our expenses down because we don't think we're going to be raising the $20 million we had hoped for. So there's a few things that we're kind of taking out. I know those markers on the bikes are so great to have because you can ride by people and you can shout out their name and encourage them to keep riding. And, we are going to be doing the yellow flags. And so riders who want to pick up their yellow flag and ride with that, that will be a way to identify other riders. And we're encouraging everyone to wear their official Ride to Conquer Cancer jersey or t-shirt from either this year or previous years, so that when you're out on the road and you happen to ride by another rider, that you can kind of give that wave from a social distancing distance away and have share that camaraderie. So hopefully that answers your question, Michael.
Is there a hashtag you would like us to use during virtual rides? Peter, thank you so much. That tells me that you want to get the word out. So thank you very much for that, Peter. We always use the hashtag Conquer Cancer and Ride On. I think maybe you can suggest a hashtag because we haven't come up with one yet. So we will be communicating. And I'm thinking, I almost want to say VRTCC. Virtual Ride to Conquer Cancer. What do you think? Does it stick?
Hey, I love how you're building a plane as you're flying it, Tammy. We're making stuff up as we go. Yeah, but I think the answer is yes, and we're working on it, and we will communicate to you, Peter, in like the next few weeks, so you'll know what hashtag to use.
Thanks, Peter.
Mariah. Will a summary with all the information discussed today be provided for distribution for the rest of the riders? Well, Maria, if you go, yes. In fact, pretty much everything Tammy and I have talked about today is available on our frequently asked questions. So that will be available, and I believe this is being recorded right now, and so this video will live live on probably both Facebook and YouTube. So if you want to bore yourself with an hour of your time that you'll never get back, then tune right in, and all this information will be available either through the video or on the frequently asked questions section of our website.
Yeah.
How are we doing? Daniel.
Oh, Daniela. Wonderful. Well, we're very happy that you're with us. Thank you. And I hope that you'll participate, and I hope that you'll raise at least $1,000 so that you can also get your gold helmet. We're really, really grateful that you're with us, Daniela. Thank you.
Sparky, will there be gold, silver, and bronze ambassador levels? So no, we've changed up the RBC ambassador program this year, and we're just going to go with one ambassador level. So everybody who overachieves the $2,500 we'll get the official RBC ambassador jersey. And so we're not going to be breaking it down into different categories because we recognize the fundraising will be a little bit different this year versus other years. And so you're going to be everyone who overachieves that $2,500 will be a true ambassador this year. So hope that answers your question, Spark.
Wendy, how can we support our sponsors on August 29th? So I'm not sure, Steve, you're nodding. I'm not sure if I understand what that means.
Go to the beer store and buy a few cases of steam whistle. Turn on your air conditioning for Enbridge. You know what? It's a great question, Wendy, and leave that one with us. And that's I love the fact that you're thinking about the sponsors. And by the way, I want to do a shout out to our sponsors because we were a little bit nervous that our sponsors would say, well, we love to be involved in the big, massive, it's Canada's largest fundraising event. It's the Woodstock of cycling. And for those of you who have participated and gather at McMaster University, and we're unable to do that, our sponsors love that interaction with the riders, and we won't be able to do that this year. And we were a little bit nervous that maybe our sponsors would want to maybe cut back their sponsorship or defer their sponsorship. And so we've been reaching out to all the sponsors, and without fail, every single one of them are stepping up and remaining whole on their support. And so that money is so needed and highlighted to our previous question about how important the fundraising is. And so it's a great question, and we'll get back to you on that, Wendy, in terms of how you can support our sponsors. In fact, so we'll have ways. You can go buy a car from Dilawri, go to the beer store, buy a case of beer from Steam Whistle, and anyways, we're working on it. Good question,
Robert. I love me some Steve Merker and Steam Whistle. Hello, chopped liver. Love me some Steve Merker and Steam Whistle. Go get him. All right. Okay. he must be a friend of yours, Steve. Robert.
Yeah, long time. Yeah, thanks, Robert. I appreciate that. Anytime you're in town, buddy, we'll get together.
That's nice. Thanks, Robert. Patricia, will there be tech support in some routes? Patricia, we were talking about this and we were saying that we're hoping that we're going to be able to have the ability to have hydration stations. To have tech support may be a little bit of a challenge in these times. So we are going to limit it to hydration stations, and we won't have bike tech support on the route rather.
One of the things that we're working on, Patricia, is to have some of our pickup depots at a bike shop location, and so there might be the opportunity to have maybe we could highlight a bike shop that's on one of our suggested routes. So if you are having mechanicals, you could drop into a bike shop. I don't know how many bike shops are taking drop-ins at this point in time. Hopefully the rules are a little bit different come the end of August, but right now it's we're not going to be able to offer that.
Right.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Yeah.
No, thank you. How do I get the True Grit shirt? You only need to donate $500 to Tammy Johnson, Ride to Conquer Cancer. True Grit shirts. So quick story, because Steve got to tell some stories. I'm going to tell you a little story. We have a captain. We affectionately call him Captain Pete. I don't know, Pete, if you're watching right now, but someone who knows him knows who I'm talking about. He's a captain of a team, KPMG, and Pete likes to let us know what great Canadians we are. And he tells us when he speaks to our other riders, he talks about being a great Canadian. And Pete truly is a great Canadian. He shares his home recordings of his studio sessions. He sings, he plays the guitar, he has a lot of musical friends. He's very passionate about our cause. And he is the one who said, True Grit. You really have true grit if you participate in this ride. And it resonated with me and Steve. And we thought, True Grit, damn right. You're right. So we put on a shirt. If you want to get a True Grit shirt, I have a couple in my office. How many people heard that? You can email me and I will get you a True Grit shirt, Tim. That's it, just Tim.
Okay,
June.
good old June.
Aw,
June, thank you for
June.
the face. Miss you guys. Training for the virtual ride. Tough times for charities. Thankful. Thank you, June. June is a long time supporter in
We
many
love
different
June.
ways of Princess Margaret and the ride. So thanks, June. Good to see that you're out there listening to us.
And
Gary.
before we go to Gary, I just want to give a shout out to Blair. Blair. Hi, Blair. And thank you so much, June and Blair and Mary Jane. Thank you. Gary.
Gary, Princess Margaret saved my life too. This will be my 10th ride, raised 7,800 so far this year, nearly
Wow.
70,000. Amazing. So far, proud to participate or something.
Maybe.
It's cut off there. Oh, Gary, I love that picture of you in the frame.
Awesome.
That's, you know what? It's back to Tammy's opening message. It's not where, it's why.
Yeah.
Gary has a reason to ride for, and he's benefited. He benefited from the people who were doing events like the Ride to Conquer Cancer 25 years ago.
Yeah.
Because it's the research that saves lives, and Gary wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for research. And so Gary's paying it forward by doing his 10th ride this year, and so people 10 years from now will benefit from the things that you're doing, Gary, and everyone who's listening in and going to take part in our virtual ride on August the 29th.
So happy. Thank you. Colleen. Colleen's a Princess Margaret researcher and a rider. Hats off to you. Hats off to you, Colleen. I'd like to thank Princess Margaret for this Q&A and all the riders. Research needs the funds more now than ever. Colleen, thank you so much for tuning in, and thank you so much for doing what you do. Riding is one thing, but being a researcher and helping those with cancer, it's pretty incredible. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Colleen.
Wonder if we have any more questions.
Oh,
That's it.
Is that it? Well, we might have even finished under an hour, Tam. Oh, look at Tammy's putting on her official.
I'm going out for my ride now.
You're going out for your ride?
With my hat and with my True Grit shirt.
Right on. Well,
that was fun.
Thank you, Tammy, for a little brevity at the end of our little Q&A webinar. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Some great questions. Hopefully, we've answered all of them for you fairly clearly. If you have more questions, tune in to or call into our ride office, and Kristen and her team will be happy to answer any of your questions. And stick around. We're going to go off screen, but we're going to have a little bit of a slideshow for a couple of minutes, and we're going to highlight our Strava Club, the official 2020 jersey, the milestone. What's it called again? The milestone.
Road to Rewards.
Road to Rewards program, and a few other things. So there's a few slides we want to show you as we conclude. Just want to make sure there's no other questions before we sign off. I also am going for a ride, and I'm going to have a quick dinner and get out there and enjoy the rest of the day. So
awesome, great.
Thanks again, everyone, for tuning in. It's always we have no idea how many people are watching us. It could be just Tammy and I talking to each other, and one random person posting questions. But this was and that was June. We may do this again, because I'm sure there's going to be more questions in a month from now. So if people feel like this is helpful, that we'll do this again. And it's a little bit strange for Tammy and I. We're used to speaking in front of groups of people, but it feels like we're just speaking in front of each other, which we do every day. But thanks, I'll stop right there, and we'll hand it over to Tiffany to show the slideshow. And have a great rest of day, everyone. Thanks again, and we'll see you out on the virtual road.